Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to Tradingofftilt. I'm Ryan, and today I'm going to be going over my levels on Bitcoin as a swing trader and a day trader. So I'm going to be first showing you guys my analysis and kind of what I'm looking for on the Bitcoin from the swing trader's perspective, because I swing trade and day trade. And then I'm going to be going over Bitcoin from a day trader's perspective. So without further ado, let's zoom into this section right here, because that's basically all I'm going to be covering in this video. And we're on the daily chart to clarify. And what I always like to do when I'm swing trading, especially swing trading, is see if there's a range that you could identify. Now, if we were just going up like this, if we were just going up, then there wouldn't really be a range to identify. But in this situation, there is, because what we've seen is a massive run up, a rejection here, and then another pretty big run up, and then another rejection. So there's a clear range you can identify between this high right here, and we pull it over, line it up, and these lows down here. Now you can see this midline is very well respected, especially right here, because even before this was really considered a quote-unquote range, because we didn't really get a rejection up here yet. You could still see a rise above this, and then a rejection on the midline twice, and then we got a move up, rejection, close under, back test, and then we finally made our way up, and then we came to the top of the range, rejected, got a deviation of the range, came back under, we back tested this midline once again, and then we came up. Of course, it's not exactly around it's not exactly at the midline, but it's very close. Then we got a rejection up, and then close back below, and then a back test of the midline, and for all we know, we could be making our way down like this. So in my book, one of the defining factors of a proper range or channel is the respect of the midline. So if the midline is well respected, then you could probably assume that it's going to be a well respected channel or a well respected range. So in this case, I'm using this range as a pretty big indicator on when I'm going to decide to buy, and that's, as many of you guys could have probably guessed, down here at the lows. So as many of you know, in a range, you want to sell the highs and then buy the lows. Now, currently, we're in the middle of the range. So in my opinion, if you were to take a trade right here, I would not treat it as a swing trade, but rather a day trade. So I, in fact, did take a trade down here today, right around 41.8K. But I'm not going to be treating it as a swing trade. Rather, I'm treating it as much smaller of a day trade, where I'm going to be taking profits a lot sooner and using a lot tighter of a stop loss. Something along the lines of this. So I'm definitely not going to be having a massive stop loss and expecting us to, go to the moon from here. Now, what I would expect if we got to the bottom of the range is for us to, bounce around the bottom of the range. It doesn't have to be exactly at the bottom of the range. It could be a little bit above or a little bit below. But I'm expecting, within a margin of error, us to bounce somewhere in this range right here. Now, it's a pretty big range, to be honest. You could say, let's see, from the top of the range to the bottom, it's a 33% drop. But as a swing trader, and especially as just a hodler in general, then you could look at these levels to the downside as areas to buy and accumulate. So what I'm looking for in general is for us to come down a little bit lower to the bottom of this range. Now, I have some more specific targets down here, but more generally, I'm looking for us to come down here to the bottom of this range. And if we come below the bottom of this range, then what I'm going to be looking for is this order block right here, around 23 to 24K. And if we break below that, then the order block right here, around 18 to 20K. Now, that's basically what I'm looking for as a swing trader, and that's going to be what I'm looking for on the higher time frames. But now let's zoom in a little bit more to show you guys what I'm looking for as more of a day trader. All right, so now we're going to be looking at things through the lens of a day trader, and we're on the 1 hour chart. Now I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys the levels that I'm looking at to the upside and the downside. So like I just mentioned to you guys, we just came into a level that I was looking at to the downside, which include this region right here, which consists of a weekly, a naked point of control, a golden pocket, and a previous weekly value area low. So that would be this weekly right here, this naked point of control right here, which actually lines almost perfectly with this weekly, this golden pocket down here, which is already on the chart, and let's see, this previous weekly value area low. So I'm going to go ahead and hide these levels, and well, except the weekly. I just took a trade off the weekly level, which I was showing you guys in the Discord here. This is the level I'm looking at to the downside. So I just took a trade off this weekly level, and I'm not going to be planning to hold it for too long because I am going to be trading it as a day trade. So I'm probably going to be taking profits before this monthly level, perhaps even around this golden pocket right here, around 43K. But if we happen to lose this monthly level, or rather this weekly level right here, then what I'll be looking at is for us to come into this golden pocket, probably reject off the golden pocket, maybe backtest the weekly level before going back down, or we could just come back below to test the golden pocket and then make our way up before testing this weekly level and going back up again. Those are two things that I'm looking at to the downside if we make our way below this weekly level. But for now, I'm just going to be holding on to this trade right now and hoping that we make our way up from here. If not, that's fine. I have levels to the downside, which I'm going to show you guys in just a second. But let's go ahead and hide this weekly level right here. And the next trade I'm going to be looking at would be a swing failure pattern of this low. Let's see, this low right here. So this would be the low that was put in September, right around 39.5K. And that would also include a golden pocket and a naked point of control. So let's zoom out a little bit more to give you guys a better look or a better view of this section right here. And the golden pocket that I'm referring to would be this one right here. So I believe this is on log scale. Yes, so this is a golden pocket on log scale from this low to this high right here. And if we get what I'm looking at is for us to basically, like I mentioned, get a swing failure pattern below this low right here, which happens to come right into a naked point of control, as well as a volume area low, or actually a value area low of this range pulled from here all the way to current price action. So sorry for the messy chart, guys, but yeah, I hope you guys understand what I mean. It would be this value area low right here of this fixed range volume profile. Let's hide this for now. You guys know what I mean. But all you have, and then below that, you have a naked point of control, which aligns perfectly with this golden pocket. So we don't have to bounce here, obviously, but I think it is a pretty strong level for us to bounce at. We already kind of did bounce around this level, but we haven't quite gotten the swing failure pattern of this low right here. So if we were to come back down here, I would be expecting us to take out this low right here and then move back up. And I'm definitely not going to be having any limit orders set down here. I'm going to wait for the reaction because with swing failure pattern type trades, you never know what's going to happen until it does. It's always a theory that, maybe we come below this high right here and then get a rejection. We take the liquidity out, which we actually did if you guys zoom in right here. That's exactly what we got right here, but you never know what's going to happen until it does. So that's why you always wait. If you're looking for a swing failure pattern trade, you always wait for it to happen and then market buy in when you see it happen. But that's what I'm going to be looking for at that level right there. And then below that level, if that level doesn't hold, then I'm going to be looking for this level right here, which would include a swing failure pattern trade, just like this one right here. But it would also be the 0.786, not on log scale. So if we hide this golden pocket right there, and then put on this one, well, actually, not that one, oops. Which one would it be? I think it would be pulled from this low right here, down here, to this high right here. And then you can see the 0.786 all the way down here. And then also what we have is the 0.618 of a speed fan, of a Fibonacci speed fan. So let's go to the daily chart to show you guys that. And that would be a speed fan pulled from this low right here to this high right here, which would look like this. Now it's going to vary because this is on log scale, the chart right now. So if you go to arithmetic, then it's going to be a little bit lower. But I'm on log scale. I think log scale is, in my opinion, better to trade off of on the higher time frames. So that's what I'm using right now. And we do see the 0.618 speed fan come right into, it depends how we get down here. If we kind of grind down here like this, then we could come into this level right with the 0.618 speed fan. But if we were to dump down here like this, then we'd come a little bit below it. But regardless of what happens, if we come down here today, which would be the 18th or the 17th of January, or if we come down here in 10 days, we're still going to bounce right around this 0.618 speed fan, which I'm going to view as a pretty strong level. So let's assume that we break through this level and this level doesn't hold as well. Then what I'll be looking at to the downside below that would be a monthly level right here, a volume area low, and a naked point of control. So let's hide the speed fan for now. Let's show you guys the monthly levels, the volume levels, and that's going to show you guys all of these naked point of controls down here. We don't just have one, but below this one right here, we have more. So this, you could kind of treat it as a range, but I'm treating this level as more of a level to look for a trade at, right around this monthly level, which actually comes into this volume area low. If you pull a fixed range volume profile all the way from the bottom, put in March 2020 to current price action. So you could actually add, let's call this global volume area low. So you actually have some pretty strong influences down here if you were to be looking for a long. And now if this level doesn't hold as well, if we just start crashing through all these levels like this is why you don't leave limit trade, or you don't enter with limit orders, because you never know if the trade is going to bounce at the level you want it to until it does. So I always like to wait for the bounce to happen first, and I'm going to be missing out on a slight percentage of gains that I could get if it does bounce. But I'm kind of ensuring myself that I'm not going to get screwed over if it happens to do something like this. Just keeps going straight down, which we've seen it do in the past. For example, right here. Sure, we had a lot of support built up in this area right here. Well, relatively not so much, but we still did have some support levels in here. But what we did is we just came below this low, we got a little bounce up, then we just keep crashing all the way down. Now we could do that same thing right here, theoretically, all the way down to these 30K levels or even below. So that's why I'm never going to leave, I'm never going to enter a day trade, or it depends. There are some day trades that I enter with a limit order, but typically I'm always going to wait for the reaction first and then get in. And if we were to happen to break below this monthly level right here, then what I'm going to be looking for, like I mentioned to you guys earlier in this video, is basically for us to come into the bottom of this range right here. Now, like I mentioned, if we break below this range, it's going to be these volume or these order blocks down here. So those are all the levels that I'm looking at to the downside. Now let's go over all the levels that I'm looking at to the upside. So let's zoom in on the 4-hour chart. I'm going to show you guys those levels once again. And we have some more levels in between these levels, but I'm just going to be showing you guys the main ones that I'm looking out for to the upside, which include, first of all, this level right here, which I'm going to be trading as a scalp trade. I'm definitely not going to be trading. If we make our way up here to this 46.2K-ish region, excuse me, I'm definitely not going to be looking to hold it for that long. I'm going to be taking profits very quickly. So I'm going to show you guys so what it basically consists of is a monthly open and a naked point of control. So let's put on those levels right now. You can see the naked point of control right here. And then let's put on the monthly open, or all the other volume levels, value area levels, which are right here. And you can see there's the this would be the monthly open right here. Let's see. Yep, this is the monthly open right here. So that's one scalp that I'm looking for to the upside. But the only way I'm going to be looking for it is if we establish, if we basically make our way above these highs right here without getting a swing failure pattern. So we have to kind of get above these highs a decent amount. That's what I'm going to be starting to look for this trade right here. Now, if we make our way above this trade right here, which I'd expect to happen if we make our way above these highs, is I'd be looking for this level right here, which includes a daily level and a golden pocket. So this is definitely a level that I'd be looking for a more sustained bounce at. So I'll show you guys the daily level that I'm referring to, which is right here. It's a fresh daily level right here, as well as a golden pocket. Hold from this high right here to this low down here. So like I mentioned, I'm definitely going to be looking at this level as a more sustain I'm gonna be taking profits a little bit further down than I would be on this scalp trade right here, because I view this level as a slightly stronger of a level to the upside. But if we happen to break above this level, then we actually have a stronger level to the upside, which comes in around, let's hide this, or move this up here. This comes around 50.8K. Now this consists of a weekly level and a naked point of control. So I'm going to hide these for now. Let's show you guys the weekly levels and the volume levels once again. So once again, like you guys saw down here, we get a naked point of control almost exactly around this weekly level. So I can imagine if we get above these highs right here, we get above 44.4K-ish, we keep making our way up, get above this level right here around 47.7K. Maybe we backtest it, then I could imagine us coming all the way to this level and then getting a larger rejection down, probably back to this range down here. Alright guys, so now if we happen to make our way above this level, this weekly level right here around 50.8K, what I'm going to expect to happen is for us to come back above, probably back to this weekly level, and come all the way up here to this area of resistance right here. Because we really don't have a lot of resistance between this weekly level and this order block up here. So I really would be expecting us to kind of shoot up here pretty quickly if we were to establish support above this weekly level. And right now, I just have this as kind of an area of resistance. I don't really have any specific levels that I'm going to be looking at to trade, but we do have this naked point of control at about 56.9K. We have this range point of control, which would be of this range right here, around 57.1K. We have this range point of control around about 61K. We have this weekly naked point of control, which would be a pretty strong area of resistance, around 60.4K. So overall, I'm going to be looking at two main areas. We could actually split this region up into two zones of resistance, which would probably be around here and about right here. So I don't expect us to make our way up here anytime soon, but what I really want to bring home today for you guys is that trading is a little bit like chess in the fact that you want to think of all the possibilities that could occur and kind of plan out accordingly based on all those possibilities. So for example, let's hide the brush tools for now. You don't just want to plan out one trade ahead of time. You don't want to just expect price to go up, come into, let's say you only have one level planned out and it happens to be this golden pocket level right here. If we were to make our way up to this level and then just come blasting through the level, you want to have other levels to the upside marked out as well in case we don't get a rejection from this level and we just keep going up. You don't want to be in the position where price is shooting up but you don't really know where to trade, so you just end up FOMOing into every single small rejection. I'm sure a lot of you guys have done that in the past, including myself, and it's not a good position to be in. You want to know the levels that you plan to trade, and if price happens to not get up to those levels, or if it happens to not get down to those levels, then you just don't take the trade. You just wait for those levels to get hit. And sometimes they don't get hit. You have to wait a long time for them to get hit, or you have to plan out new levels. All right, guys, that's basically all I wanted to show you guys for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a comment below and also leave a thumbs up. And yeah, I plan on doing videos like this in the future, basically every Monday or Tuesday, just to show you guys the levels that I'm planning to trade to the upside or the downside, and to give you guys my weekly perspective on Bitcoin. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the Discord server and on in the next video. All right, take care. Bye.